Coming up for 10:38, and as I said, in the studio, my guest for today is the lovely Tasnim Sharif, and Tasnim Sharif is accompanied by her interpreter, who is Kay Hughes. And just to bear in mind, because obviously she's going to be talking about the Scottish Ethnic Minority Deaf Club, or also called SEMDC, and she's here. Tasnim is basically the project coordinator for the SEMDC, and she's going to be highlighting some of the challenges that the deaf community faces, and indeed she has done too, and what kind of services are available to them. But I just want you to bear in mind that as we're doing the actual interview, Kay Hughes, who's here as her interpreter, she's going to be obviously interpreting for Tasnim, so you will perhaps feel there's a little bit of a delay because it takes time for the interpreting process. So do please bear with us. And of course, the voice is of Kay Hughes, but the words are of Tasnim, who will be speaking. So let's say hello to them both, and a very good morning. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Ambreen, from both of us.
So let's begin the interview then. Tasnim, thank you so much, and Kay, obviously joining us on Awaz FM today to talk to us about the Scottish Ethnic Minority Deaf Club. Now, before we look more into its role in the community, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how, or even why, you actually got involved?
Hi, Ambreen. Thank you very much for inviting me on your show this morning. Yes, I was born deaf, and I have 2 deaf brothers, and we all sign. I have another hearing brother and hearing sister, and they can sign as well. I was born and raised in Blackburn in England. I was very aware and empathetic of the needs and lack of support for the deaf ethnic minority in the area, and I set up the very first deaf club in Blackburn to support their needs. Not long after that, I met my husband Iftika. He's deaf himself, and he's from Glasgow, and so we moved there. Communication at home is fantastic. I feel it's vital in any relationship. Many parents of deaf Asian children discourage a marriage between a deaf couple. They wrongly assume that any children of the marriage will be born deaf. We have 3 fabulous children. They can all sign, and they're all hearing. Anyway, as there was the same need in Scotland, we originally set up the Glasgow Asian Deaf Club in 1998. Iftika is the extremely hard-working chairperson and very much hands-on with everything connected with the club. This is still the only deaf club throughout the whole of Scotland that serves the needs of the deaf ethnic minority community.
That's fantastic, thank you. Would you mind telling us of some of the challenges you faced growing up as a deaf person? Do you think it was even more difficult for you being an Asian and even female too?
Oh, I don't mind telling you at all. As a deaf person living in a hearing world, communication has always been a challenge. I felt very lucky having siblings that I could sign with. Communication, however, was limited with my parents. My sister was able to interpret for me at times. School was a real struggle at first, as we were taught orally and signing wasn't allowed. Later on, when I went to the School for the Deaf, I was taught in British Sign Language. It's known as BSL, and things became a lot easier. Religion was something I just copied and followed without any meaning or understanding. There was and still is no access to the Islamic religion for deaf people. Being a deaf person, and also being Asian and female, has its own drawbacks. I was very much more protected than my deaf brothers, and this led to immense feelings of isolation and frustration. At that time, I had approached a male community worker for support, who put me in touch with a female ethnic minority community worker. So I went to meet her along with an interpreter and was able to let out all my pent-up emotions. Unbeknown to me, all this was later relayed by her to my parents. And when I got home, my dad started hugging me and saying he was so sorry, and he kept handing me money for no apparent reason. So, having communicated these issues, everything began to change, and I was able to start to lead my own life, going to college and meeting with friends. This loneliness, frustration and isolation is sadly experienced by many deaf people. Asian families can think it's shameful to have a deaf child. Their deafness is seen as a disability that prevents them from leading a normal life. We need to reach out to these families and to present ourselves as positive role models to the community. The club has access to interpreters who are able to interpret community languages such as Urdu or Punjabi for parents of deaf children or deaf adults who cannot access English.
Thank you so much. What we're going to do is we're going to go to an ad break and song break, and when we come back we'll ask you some more. But Tasnim, that was very enlightening, just finding out a little bit about what your life was like and the challenges you faced as well. And I'm sure people out there that know somebody that's in the deaf community as well probably will be able to relate to you too. So we'll just come back in just a few minutes. Thank you for your time. Welcome back to Awaz FM. The time's now 10:47. If you've just tuned in the studio with me is Tasnim Sharif, who's project coordinator for the Scottish Ethnic Minority Deaf Club. And she, being deaf herself as well, has been talking about some of the challenges that she's faced growing up as well, and what other people could relate to as well. Along with her, we have her interpreter, who's Kay Hughes. So when you're actually listening to the interview, do please bear in mind that it will be Kay Hughes' voice, and it takes time for the interpreter process, so there may be a delay, but obviously it's the words of Tasnim Sharif. So let's go back on to our interview as well. I had a few questions ready for Tasnim. So Tasnim, I'll be very honest, up until now I probably never ever met a deaf person, and it's important that we're all aware of what it's like to be deaf and find ways that we can perhaps engage with the deaf community so that we all integrate better. Now, am I right in saying that BSL is a universal sign language, and are there any cultural differences?
Well, there are many people who have never come across a deaf person, and not all deaf people are the same. They can have different degrees of deafness and different communication methods. For deaf people like me, whose first and preferred language is BSL, in an ideal world it would be great if everyone could sign. Failing that, there are a few simple communication tips that everyone can master. Try to speak slowly and clearly, because this helps with lip reading. Always use eye contact and body language and gesture where possible. Writing things down in a clear and concise manner can aid communication too. And no, sign language is not universal. Each country has its own sign language. However, there are parts of the language that are similar, which makes it much easier for a deaf person from another country to communicate than it would be for people who use a different spoken language. At the club we use international sign. Although this is not a recognised language, it enables us to relay signs that would be recognised internationally. We only use this when our members have no or very limited BSL. We always encourage the full use of BSL at the club.
Thanks. So you mentioned lip reading. Is lip reading difficult to learn?
It's most definitely a skill. I can lip read, but not every deaf person can. It's also very important to say that it's not always 100% accurate and can be extremely exhausting.
That's something I wasn't aware of actually, so thank you for highlighting that. Another thing that really interests me as well, were you born deaf? But for when we say when you're born deaf, for some people deafness came at a later time in their life. I'm not even talking here properly. Later time in their lives. In your opinion, do you think it's harder for those who are not born deaf to adjust to a world with no sound compared to someone that's born deaf?
Oh yes, I can imagine that it would be very difficult for a person to become deafened. I would imagine it would be like experiencing great loss. For me, there's been no loss at all, and I'm very happy and very comfortable and proud of my deaf identity and of my language.
Wish there were more people like you, because sometimes a lot of people that have any kind of learning or special needs they lack confidence, and I don't see that in you at all. It's wonderful to see that.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the Scottish Ethnic Minority Deaf Club, or the SEMDC. So when was it set up, this name?
Well, as I said, my husband and I set up the Glasgow Asian Deaf Club in 1998. We operated in a small room in a deaf club just outside the centre of town. We moved from there when we became completely independent and have gone from strength to strength. We won the Scottish Asian Business Community Award in 2014, and we moved to new office premises at Pollokshields Community Centre, where we hold our fortnightly meetings on a Saturday afternoon from 1:30 to 4:30. I'm delighted to say that on September the 7th last year, we became a Scottish Charitable Incorporated organisation. It was at this time we changed our name to the Scottish Ethnic Minority Deaf Club. The name change was to reflect the changing cultural diversity of our members. When we first set up, our members were mainly from Pakistan, India or Bangladesh, but now we have members from all over the world, from Poland, Lithuania, Syria, Morocco, Russia, Iran, Somalia and many more.
Wow.
We like to think that we are very open and relaxed and welcoming to all cultures and nationalities, and we have our deafness in common.
That's fantastic. I hadn't realised how diverse your group members are now as well. It's fantastic. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go to a quick song break. When we come back, we'll discuss a little bit more about where you're based. Thank you. So let's go back on to speaking to you again, Tasnim. Just wanted to know, where exactly is the Scottish Ethnic Minority Deaf Club based?
Currently, we're based at Pollokshields Community Centre, where we hold our meetings, our workshops and our events. We are, however, in the process of moving to a new office space at Academy Park in Gower Street in Glasgow. It's not too far from the community centre. It's got plenty of parking and excellent communication links, as well as masses of space. We will still hold our social gatherings at Pollokshields Community Centre.
That's very convenient for Awaz FM as well. Come and pester you, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so what type of services do you offer then, and who's actually eligible for these services?
As I've mentioned, we hold our social gatherings fortnightly, but out with this, there is always full-time support available. We provide empowerment, information, advice, advocacy and signposting. Well, not just signposting, that would just be like picking someone up and dropping them off. I accompany them on their journey until I am confident that all their specific needs are being met.
Is there an age group?
Well, really, any age, but mostly our members are over 16. But under 16s would be welcome, but so, we're open to any age.
If you're under 16, do you have to bring a parent or a guardian with you?
Yes, we would recommend that.
Okay, that's good.
And also, we would like the parents to be involved, and we like them to visit the club first, to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good. The Scottish Ethnic Minority Deaf Club, as you said, promotes cultural diversity in Scotland. Other than being inclusive to many people from the minority community, what do you hope to achieve, or how do you hope to achieve that?
Well, we hope in the future that we can be involved in more outreach work and employ sessional workers to reach out to more members of our community. Eventually, we'd like to set up further branches throughout Scotland.
I hope that's great. So what about if anyone wished to get involved then or use the services, what's the process?
Well, really, they just need to contact me. We have our own SEMDC Facebook page, which keeps members updated with dates of meetings, club events and news. A big part of my job is networking, and we receive many referrals this way. We issue promotional leaflets, which offer contact details which are accessible to deaf people. There is also a drop-in facility where a sign language interpreter is always available. This service is operated on an appointment basis, but I am available 24/7 on FaceTime or by SMS in case of an emergency.
Ooh, 24/7. That's scary. Are you going to have any time off?
I try to.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to ad break. So thank you for that. And while we wait for you to come back on, I just want to tell our listeners that I've already posted on Awaz FM's Facebook page as well as my own, and I've tagged Tasnim Sharif as well. So if you're not able to listen to any of the kind of numbers or where they're based, all you have to do is either look up my personal Facebook page, which is Ambreen Shoab, or Tasnim Sharif's, or you can just see her tag on my Facebook page and also the Awaz FM Glasgow page as well. So all you need to look at that, and I've put down where they're based, Tasnim's email address should you need to get in touch with her, or her phone number as well. And obviously bearing in mind that she is deaf, then the only way to communicate through mobile is through SMS and FaceTime as well. So we're just going to go to an ad break. It's 11 o'clock. When we come back, you can listen to more of what we've got to say about the SEMDC, or is it SEMDC? That's a lot easier, isn't it? Okay, speak to you real soon. So, Tasnim, we're just wondering, in terms of the Scottish Ethnic Minority Deaf Club, it's changed its logo, and for that, I think to mark that, you held a big launch event. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, this was a fantastic event, almost as good as our regular 5-year anniversary ball. The event was really a closing ceremony to showcase the workshops and events which had been funded by Awards for All Scotland. However, it coincided with our achieving recognised charity status, so we decided to make it a double celebration and launch the club's brand new name and logo at the same time. It was a fabulous cultural event. We had the doldrums playing, face painters, balloon modelling, and Minnie Mouse and the Hulk were also in attendance. The First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, came and she offered her warm congratulations to the club. She also addressed the members in BSL, which was fantastic. This was all rounded off by our now famous Asian banquet, created by the wonderful Asifa. The pictures taken by Peter Hughes are on Facebook. Have a look.
We will do. We'll have a good look at the pictures as well. That's a fantastic achievement to have the First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, attend as well. And as you say, she even managed to do BSL as well. That's such an achievement. Well done.
Thank you. Yes, it was fabulous.
Are there any upcoming events or projects that we could look out for?
Well, we've recently launched our brand new Phoenix project. This is a 3-year funded project from the Big Lottery. It will be run in conjunction with a project called Gathered, which is kindly funded by the People's Health Trust. The aim of both projects is to continue to improve the lives of the deaf ethnic minority community in Scotland and to bring the communities together. The project supports my role at the club, and as well as moving to new premises, we have now recruited a second member of staff to work as a financial assistant administrator. We are also able to purchase some IT equipment, so we'll be offering our members some training in BSL on various topics, including the driving theory test. We will also be offering basic English and BSL classes for our many new members from non-BSL countries.
It's great. It shows how important this funding and these projects are to make you more successful.
Absolutely.
So you wanted to thank a few people, did you?
Oh, yes, please. Can I take this opportunity to say thank you to Ulrich Johnson and Emily Robinson from Awards for All Scotland and the Big Lottery, the People's Health Trust, and to Mary Snedden and all the staff at Semvo, to Stuart and Alan at Pollokshields Community Centre, and to the SEMDC Board of Trustees and all the members that support our club.
Welcome. Tasnim, you seem so well adjusted, very positive, and I noticed at the 2014 Scottish Asian Business Award. You were presented with Community Award winner, and you're also winner of 2017 Significant Achievement Award at SEM1. I was actually there watching you, actually. To me, you've achieved a lot for someone so young, and you're an absolute inspiration, but it's all because of your hard work, your dedication, and I feel that you're so passionate about what you do and trying to help people in the community going through struggles as you did. What advice would you give to anyone who has someone who perhaps is struggling in any way? What could you suggest for them?
Thank you, Ambreen. That's very kind of you to say so. If you know of anyone who is deaf and a member of the ethnic minority community who is struggling or just needs a friend, do please get in touch. The Scottish Ethnic Minority Deaf Club is here to support you. We understand you, and no problem is too big or too small.
Thank you so much. That's so good to know. Tasnim, thank you for coming along, and also Kay as well for coming along interpreting for today as well. Thanks for coming on Awaz FM, highlighting what SEMDC does, giving us a little bit of an insight into the world of a deaf person. I've learnt a lot, and I'm hoping that this creates more understanding, tolerance and integration within the ethnic community as well. As you know, there's an ethnic community listening to Awaz FM as well. So thank you so much. I wish you all the best, and we hope to have you on again as well. Please give us some updates of any other projects that you do in the future. We'd love to know. Also want to just go over the numbers and email addresses for those that are listening just now. So if you want to get in touch with Tasnim, as I say, she's a project coordinator for the Scottish Ethnic Minority Deaf Club. She can be emailed directly on Tasnim, TASNIM, at SEMDC, that's C for Charlie, .org.uk. She has a mobile number that you can get access to her via SMS and FaceTime, and that's 07465 678 087. And as they had mentioned, that at the moment they are about to look into changing premises, but at the moment you can get a hold of them at the Pollock Shields Community Centre, just a stone's throw away from Awaz FM, 15 Kenmure Street, and that's G41 2NT. Eventually their new business will be Academy Park, but as I say, you don't need to worry about that just yet. As soon as they're moved in, I'm sure Tasnim will give us an update. Thank you both for coming in. I wish you all the best, and thank you for highlighting a lot of issues to us as well. Appreciate it. And
thank you too, Ambreen. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in. You're listening to Ambreen on the mid-morning show on Awaz FM. It's Tuesday, the 23rd of January. Oh goodness, another more week and January is over. So it's 11:21 just now. And I hope you haven't missed our interview that I had just a few moments ago with the lovely Tasnim Sharif. Honest to goodness, what an inspiration. The stuff that she's done and the stuff that she's been through in her life, and still she's so optimistic and so inspiring as well. If you need any information at all, you can go on to SEMDC Facebook. I've put all the links on Awaz FM, as well as my own Facebook page, Ambreen Shoab, as well as as I said, on the Awaz FM Facebook too. So please do get in touch. There is a number, I'm trying to look for it actually, and I can't seem to find it, but I don't know where I've put it. I'll try and see if I can find it. I think I found it. There we go. Sorry about the delay here. Yeah, here we go. So they're based in Pollock Shields Community Centre, 15 Kenmure Street, G41 2NT. And you can basically either email Tasnim on TASNIM at semdc.org.uk. And they have a phone number 07465 78087. And obviously, because Tasnim is deaf, you obviously won't be able to speak to her because she won't be able to hear you, but you can SMS and you can FaceTime her on the mobile as well. Apparently she's available 24/7. Crazy girl. But anyway, I'm just so appreciative of her joining Awaz FM today to tell us a little bit about the challenges that the deaf community faces.